some of the music for that. But for now, let's get into the story. Alright, so our story today is a pretty exciting one. And the first character that I would like to introduce is a guy named Saul. So this is going to be our Saul in the story. And so some things that you need to know about Saul are that he's actually kind of a bad guy at this point in the story. So he doesn't believe in Jesus yet, and he's kind of been doing some mean things to the people that do believe in Jesus. He's been putting them in prison and things like that, which isn't good. And what he's actually done is he's talked to some really important people and gotten permission to go to a place called Damascus and actually put more Christians in prison. So yeah, some pretty sad stuff that he wants to do. And so how it works is he starts off with his journey. He's not traveling by himself, he's got a few friends, so we'll just put some more people out here. Maybe one more guy. So they start traveling along, and as they're going on their way, suddenly a bright light from heaven appears. And as there's this bright light, there's also a voice. And so the voice says, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul asked. "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting," he replied. "Now get up and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." So the men travelling with Saul stood there speechless. They had heard the sound, but they didn't see anyone. And so Saul had fallen over, but when he got up, he actually realized that he couldn't see. And so he was blind, and so what these men did is they led him into the city of Damascus, which we're going to say is over here. And for 3 days he was blind and he didn't eat or drink anything. So now we have our second character to introduce. So this is a guy called Ananias. And so Ananias is a really cool person. He believes in Jesus. And so, well, yeah, he also lived in Damascus. And the Lord called to him in a vision and said, "Ananias." "Yes, Lord," he answered. The Lord told him, "Go to the house of Judas on Straight Street and ask for a man from Tarsus named Saul, for he is praying. In a vision he has seen a man named Ananias come and place his hands on him to restore his sight." "Lord," Ananias answered, "I have heard many reports about this man and all the harm that he has done to your holy people in Jerusalem. And he has come here with authority from the chief priests," so the important people, "to arrest all those who believe in you." But the Lord said to Ananias, "Go, this man is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and their kings and to the people of Israel. I will show him how much he must suffer for my name." So what's happening here is that God is telling Ananias that he needs to visit Saul and actually restore his sight, so make sure that he can see again. Which for Ananias was actually a really scary thing to do because Saul had been quite a bad guy. He'd been really mean to people who are Christians like Ananias, and so he was a little bit scared. But Ananias trusted in God, and so he followed, and so he went to this house. He put his hands on Saul, and immediately he could see again. These things like scales apparently fell from his eyes, so that was obviously what was stopping him from seeing, and he could see. And so after this, he got up and was baptized, and he regained his strength after he had eaten some food. So this is a pretty amazing story. At the start of the story, Saul wasn't actually a Christian, he didn't believe in Jesus, but by the end he did. And this was able to happen because of God's awesome power. You know, he did the really cool thing with the bright light and the voice, but also because someone like Ananias trusted God and was willing to follow through with what God was telling him to do. And that's something that's really important for us to remember as well. God is so powerful and we can always trust what he says, and sometimes it's really important for us to follow what we think God might be telling us to do, whether that's to tell our friends about Jesus or to just be nice to people and show God's love. And yeah, we should always trust God because he's so powerful and he knows what he's doing, and if we do, some really awesome things can happen, like how Saul became a Christian in this story. So before we get on to the activity, I'm just going to pray now. Dear God, thank you so much for your awesome power. Thank you that you've done incredible things in people's lives like Saul. I really pray that you'll help us to be like Ananias and to be able to trust what you're saying. I pray that you'll help us remember to just follow with what you're saying because you know best and you have some really cool things planned for us. Amen. Alright, so moving on to our activity. what you're going to need is a blank piece of paper, a pen or a pencil, and some scissors and a Bible verse. So what's going to happen is you're going to want to write the Bible verse on the piece of paper, and you want to leave some spaces so that you can cut around some of the words a little bit, and I'll explain why once I've done it. But the verse that I decided to use is Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6. And that says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your paths straight." And so this verse is, well, these verses are just talking about how it's really important to trust God, which is what we learned in the story. And if we do, it says that God will make our paths straight, which kind of means that he'll just make sure that we are doing the right thing, and yeah, some good things will happen out of that, which is really cool. So I'm just going to write that verse on this piece of paper now. Alright, so I've done this, and now it's time to cut it up. So the first thing, I'm just going to cut it in lines, and then once I've done that, I might chop up some of the individual words. And you'll see why very soon. Alright, so now I've got these in 2 strips. I'm just going to cut it into, I'm not going to cut off one by one word. I might do a couple words, because then someone's going to have to put the phrase in order, and I'll demonstrate that soon. Awesome, so now as you should be able to see here, I have a whole lot of individual words and a few words and things, and I'm going to mix these up, and I'm going to get someone to put this verse in order and see if they can do it. So I'll be right back with my challenger who's going to complete this challenge. Alright, so welcome back. So I've got my mother here now, and she's going to be trying to sort out these verses. So Mum, what you have to do is you have to order these words and phrases so it makes the verse make sense and is correct. Does that make sense to you?
Yep, do I get any hints?
We'll see how, if you're struggling, maybe I'll give you a hint, but I think you'll be pretty good at it. So yeah, you can get started.
Okay, so is the verse reference here?
Yep, the verse reference is there, so that's where it's found. Should be one
Proverbs 3, 5 and 6. Oh, I know this one.
Oh yeah, should be good.
Trust in the Lord with. Where's a with? Yeah, didn't even have that one turned over.
Oh,
with
tricky.
all. Where's your heart? Because that comes next. With all your heart, and lean not. Is that an on?
Yeah, that's
on your own understanding. There it is.
Oh, she's
understanding.
got the first bit. That's good.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on understanding. In all your ways acknowledge the Lord.
Might be a bit of a different version, but
in all
you
your ways. Is it submit to him?
Yeah.
Oh, it is different. See, I'm old school. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6.
Oh, awesome. Good job, Mum. That was well done. So yeah, you're welcome to make this activity at home and try it out on your family members or maybe on your friends. It probably is easier if you know the memory verse already, but I'm sure they'll still be able to do it even if you won't, even if they don't. So feel free to use this verse or a different one as well. Awesome. Thanks, Mum. Awesome. So that's all I've got for RCC Kids Online this week. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back next week to see the next RCC Kids Online. Thank you.